and learning environments within Ego local government area. The executive chairman, Honorable Osaro Osa Eribu, embarked on an inspection visit to some public primary schools across the locality. This move is to enable the chairman know areas that needs attention. BeeTv News Favor Kolawole has details.
The acting chairman of Ego local government, Honorable Crosby Errible, stated that the purpose of the visit was to ascertain the level of infrastructural dilapidation in schools and to identify urgent areas needing government intervention in order to provide a safe and conducive environment for effective teaching and learning. According to him, it is the right of every Ego child to have access to quality education, and this includes not just sound teaching services but also good educational infrastructure. Some of the schools visited by the chairman include Ogida Model Primary School, Erika Primary School, Use and Ego Primary School, amongst others.
When she was here, so she brought people to sew the uniform and for distributing it.
Those people that used to work here, do you know any of them?
No, she was the one that brought them, so we were here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Honorable Errible reaffirmed his administration's commitment to revitalizing the education sector within the local government, emphasizing that a well-educated generation is key to sustainable community development. He assured that necessary steps would be taken to restore the upgrade public facilities, ensuring that pupils and teachers alike operate in environments that promote excellence and growth. Favor Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
The Edo State government has issued a one-week ultimatum to the former illegitimate deputy governor, Mr. Godwin Omobayo, to immediately return all government property and assets still in his possession. The government has observed with dismay that several official items, including vehicles, documents, and other state-owned assets assigned to Mr. Omobayo during his brief and illegitimate tenure, are yet to be surrendered to the appropriate authorities, despite multiple formal reminders. A statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Mr. Fred Itua, says the Edo State government reiterates that all assets acquired or utilized in the course of public service remains the property of the state and must be duly returned upon cessation of office. The continued retention of such property by any individual constitutes a clear breach of public trust and an unlawful possession of state assets. Accordingly, Mr. Omobayo is hereby given a period of 7 days from the date of this release to comply fully by returning all government property under his custody to the office of the Secretary to the State Government. Failure to comply within the stipulated period will compel the government to direct the Commissioner of Police, Edo State Command, to effect his arrest and ensure the immediate recovery of all state assets still in his possession through lawful means. The Edo State government remains committed to accountability, due process, and the protection of public property, and said that no individual, regardless of former position or political affiliation, will be permitted to unlawfully appropriate or retain assets belonging to the people of Edo State. This administration, under the leadership of the Senator Monday Okpebolo, will continue to uphold the principles of transparency, discipline, and integrity in public service, ensuring that all public officers are held to the highest standards of responsibility and probity. The government urges Mr. Omobayo to respect this directive and avoid actions that could invite consequences of further embarrassment. The acting chairman of Oredo Local Government Council, Honorable Engineer Gabriel Eduseri, has commended the Edo State Parks and Gardens Agency for its laudable initiative aimed at beautifying the state's urban spaces using the GRA as a model for reference. The chairman stated this during a one-day engagement meeting. The reports. Speaking at a recent one-day engagement meeting organized by the agency, Honorable Iduseri, represented by the Chief of Staff, Honorable Ebegwe Igo Osagie described the initiative as apt and in line with the Project Shine agenda of His Excellency Senator Monday Okpebolo, which seeks to make Edo State an attractive center of excellence and a preferred destination for investment. He emphasized that the theme of the engagement meeting, Beautify Edo, is both apt and visionary, noting that the government's reserved area, GRA, selected as a pilot model underscores the need for urgent beautification and environmental restructuring efforts.
We can come in as governments to support. We are going to play a supportive role because the issue of beautification of the state is saddled with the responsibility of the past and guiding under the shine agenda of the governor. So as governments at the local level, we are taking it upon ourselves to liaise by the grace of God with the MD who has started working immediately, he was sworn in, and he has been a visitor of the local government at the same time. He has been with the chairman, he has taken a walk around the city center to make sure, to work together and make sure that we achieve this success.
The Oredo Council boss also used the occasion to call on all stakeholders, residents and traders to support the Project Shine agenda, as well as the ongoing campaign against drug abuse championed by Her Excellency Mrs. Edesili Anani in partnership with the council. He stressed that curbing drug abuse among youths remains critical to sustaining a clean, safe and vibrant environment.
The chairman has also kickstarted the beautification of the city, most especially within the premises of the council. And we are also looking at how we can collaborate with the parks and Edo Parks Guiding, which is saddled with the responsibility of beautifying the city. And I also think that beautification is key and is a top priority within our administration. And the chairman has also said that he is going to look into it critically and engage and partner with the parks and garden to make sure that we keep our city clean.
The beautification of the city centre is one of the top priorities of the chairman of Oredo Local Government, Honorable Engineer Gabriel Iduseri. Harmony Agbafo reporting for BeeTv News. The Senate on Tuesday lauded President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, and other key institutions for their role in securing Nigeria's removal from the Financial Action Task Force grey list, described as a major victory for the nation's financial integrity and global reputation. The motion was sponsored by Senator Emmanuel Udende under matters of urgent public importance pursuant to Orders 41 and 51 of the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended. Moving the motion, Udende said Nigeria's delisting by FATF reflects the country's remarkable progress in addressing strategic deficiencies in its anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism framework and demonstrates its strong commitment to global financial integrity standards. He recalled that Nigeria's previous conclusion on the FATF grey list had subjected the country to heightened international monitoring, scrutiny and reputational risk, which adversely affected investor confidence and limited access to global financial markets. The senator credited the developments to the successful implementation of extensive reforms and policy measures by the executive arm of government, the National Assembly, and several regulatory and enforcement agencies. In its resolution, the Senate recognized the invaluable leadership and contributions of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Senate, the NFIU, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, the Central Bank of Nigeria, and other relevant stakeholders whose coordinated actions culminated in this significant national achievements. Lawmakers expressed delight that the delisting has boosted investor confidence and reassured the international community of Nigeria's renewed commitment to transparency, accountability, and global financial standards. The Tin Can Island Port Command of the Nigerian Customs Service has recorded another major success in its enforcement operations, intercepting 2 containers loaded with motor vehicles that were used to conceal large quantities of illicit drugs. According to the command, the operation highlights its unwavering commitment to safeguarding Nigeria's borders and maintaining global trade standards. The report.
At the headquarters of the Tin Island Port Command in Lagos, the Customs Area Controller Francis Ona briefed journalists on the command's latest seizure. 2 containers arriving from overseas, each hiding narcotic substances, cleverly concealed within imported vehicles. The first container, according to the controller, originated from Montreal, Canada, and was intercepted following meticulous intelligence and coordinated enforcement efforts. The second container was tracked down after actionable intelligence shared directly under his directive led to this discovery.
Upon physical examination, which was jointly conducted by officers and men of our command and relevant government agencies, the container was found to contain 4 vehicles which had concealed quantities of illicit drugs as detailed below. 156 packages of Colorado Antigua, a strain of cannabis weighing 78 kilograms, and 1.2 kilograms of hashish oil. The total street value of these illicit drugs recovered from both 6 containers is over 5.3 billion naira.
Controller Onyeka also used the opportunity to warn importers and exporters against false declaration and other trade infractions, emphasizing that the service will continue to deploy intelligence-driven strategies to strengthen national security and trade facilitations.
We urge all legitimate traders to adhere strictly to trade regulations and make honest declarations in their imports and export documentation. We will stop at nothing to make sure that this place becomes very hot as possible for those of us who have decided not to play by the rules.
In keeping this interagency collaborative framework, the seized narcotics were handed over to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency for further investigation. Favour Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
Thousands of Nigerians took to the streets of Abuja for the 11th edition of the Medicaid Cancer Awareness Walk. The annual event brought together survivors, health workers, policymakers and advocates for a 5-kilometer walk aimed at promoting early detection, encouraging regular screening and strengthening support for cancer patients across the country. This year's theme, One Walk, One Fight, One Mission, underscores the shared responsibility of all stakeholders in confronting the growing burden of cancer and promoting collective action towards prevention, early detection, and improved care.
More opportunities, we need to have more resources thrown towards this disease and diagnose it earlier so that our people can live longer.
All a statement that the message is resonating.
Former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Atariu Jega, has called for the periodic review of Nigeria's electoral legal frameworks to enhance the integrity of the nation's elections. He made this remark while delivering the 9th convocation lecture of the NILDS Uniben Postgraduate and the 4th NILDS HND program. The report.
The integrity of Nigerian election has continued to be an evolving conversation, especially as another general election beckons. Nigerians more often than not record low citizen participation in the electoral process, citing the credibility of the poll as a critical factor. In his convocation lecture, Atahiru Jaga underscores the need for integrity in the nation's electoral processes and canvass the true independence of the Independent National Electoral Commission in the state and the judiciary as the last hope of the common man.
Periodic review of electoral legal framework, particularly the Electoral Act, and as necessary the Constitution, are fundamental requirements for electoral integrity. And usually this should be done within the electoral cycle and in good time before the elections.
The National Assembly promises to continue its drive for improved electoral processes through amendments and repeal where necessary, and one that represents confidence in the citizen.
The challenges we face as a nation, be it in governance, economic development, or social justice, require innovative solutions and informed decision-making.
We will continue to do our part to strengthen existing legal frameworks and enhance our oversight responsibilities of public institutions to ensure that they deliver effective public service.
The National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies and the University of Benin, the collaboration has produced a transformation in all fields of human endeavors. High points of the ceremony is the Recognition Award of Excellence on deserving graduates. Favor Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
President Bola Tinubu has held his first meeting with the newly appointed service chiefs at the presidential villa. The new military chiefs arrived at the forecourt of the villa around 4 p.m., led by the new Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede. The meeting follows the president's sweeping changes in the military hierarchy announced on Friday, October 24. According to the official statement confirming the shake-up, President Bola Tinubu explained that the decision was part of the federal government's ongoing efforts to strengthen Nigeria's national security architecture. He appointed General Olufemi Oluyede as the new Chief of Defense Staff, replacing General Christopher Musa. Major General Waidi Shaibu was named the new Chief of Army Staff, while Air Vice Marshal Kelvin Sunday was appointed Chief of Air Staff, and Rear Admiral Idi Abbas became the new Chief of Naval Staff. The Chief of Defense Intelligence Major General AAP Udian Deye retained his position. President Tinubu charged the newly appointed service chiefs to justify the confidence reposed in them by further enhancing the professionalism, vigilance, and comradeship that define the Nigerian Armed Forces. And now, moving on to business news, Unicode Africa, a newly launched Pan-African cloud service provider, on Monday announced its entry into the continent's fast-growing $5 billion cloud computing market, pledging to keep African data within Africa and reduce reliance on offshore data centers. Let's join BeeTv News Sinimtope Oluwafemi for more details on this and more from the business world.
This model means that a significant portion of African data, including financial records, government information, and private user data, resides on servers in Europe, North America, or Asia. While these global platforms offer scale and reliability, they also create dependencies that expose African nations to foreign jurisdiction, data privacy risk, and high operational costs tied to foreign exchange fluctuations. Nigeria's energy sector stakeholders will this week confront one of the sector's biggest challenges, which is closing the $34.5 billion funding gap needed to achieve universal electricity access by 2030, as stakeholders gather in Lagos for Nigeria Energy 2025. The three-day conference, which opens today at the landmark event center, Lekki, Lagos, will bring together government officials, regulators, investors, and innovators under the theme Powering Nigeria Through Investment, Innovation, and Partnership. By the third day, attention will shift to gas and clean energy, the two pillars of Nigeria's dual transition strategy. The opening panel, Power Generation in Transition, Integration and Growth in Nigeria's Energy Future, will explore how gas-to-power investments are being reshaped by local ownership and new business models following the divestment of international oil companies from onshore assets. The Financial Institutions Training Center and the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System reaffirmed their leadership in strengthening cyber resilience, digital trust, and governance across Nigeria's financial ecosystem during the 6th edition of the annual FITC/NIBSS Think Innovation Cybersecurity Conference held in Lagos. The hybrid event attracted delegates both physically and virtually from multiple continents, reinforcing FITC's growing global reputation for thought leadership in financial innovation and technology governance. According to country manager of Shelf Global Limited, Walid Bou Absi, the conference created an idea platform for stakeholders to engage on the future of cybersecurity. Group Chief Information Security Officer of First Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Harrison Naji, commended FITC for its consistency in leading the national cybersecurity dialogue. Newly sworn-in president of the African Export-Import Bank, Dr. George Elobi, has expressed reservation about the concessional lending to African countries, warning that such loans carry hidden costs that often cripple economies rather than strengthen them. Multilateral lenders such as the IMF and World Bank continue to play a central role in Africa by providing concessional loans that are relatively affordable and long-term. Elobi warns that their hidden cost often outweighs the benefits. Temisokwe Oluwafemi reporting for BeeTv News.
Now moving to the global scenes, in a move that has ignited widespread condemnation and reignited long-standing frictions between Nobel Prize-winning author Wole Soyinka and the United States, the U.S. government has permanently revoked the 90-year-old literary icon B1, B2 visa. The decision disclosed by Soyinka himself during a media briefing in Lagos today comes just weeks after he publicly declined a U.S. consulate invitation for a visa re-interview, citing deep-seated distrust of President Donald Trump's policies. Soyinka, Africa's first Nobel laureate in literature 1986, read aloud from the revocation letter dated October 23, 2025, during the event at the Congies Avest Gallery in Freedom Park. The document issued by the U.S. Consulate General in Lagos explicitly states that the visa issued on April 2, 2024 has been cancelled under the authority of U.S. immigration law, barring him from entering the country indefinitely. The revocation papers to stem directly from Soyinka's refusal to attend the scheduled re-interview on September 11, 2025, a date he decried as strange and bizarre, due to its historical significance as the anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. In a fiery statement last month, the renowned playwright and poet likened Trump to a white Idi Amin, invoking the infamous Ugandan dictator to underscore his fears of authoritarian overreach in American immigration process. Soyinka remarked at the time, emphasizing that he had more important matters to attend to than